You are looking live at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which closed at the very high of the day today. Once again, it tried to take out that 20,000, excuse me, 20,070 here from December 26th. It tried it here, couldn't do it, tried it here yesterday. It got up to 20,068 today, 20,053, and it closed at 20,053, the very high of the day. So we can see that it opened lower and then just climbed all day. And then the last couple of ticks there had some high volume close there for the Nasdaq. So maybe that'll bode well for tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see, but it was up 44 points or 0.22%. You can see the volume was 12% below the average in the last three sessions this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's been a decreasing volume as the Nasdaq tries to power through that 20,000 level and above the old 20,204, which I believe is just a matter of time. We have the mega cap technology stocks reporting next week, and I think that could be a catalyst. Now, I've been instructed to make my videos shorter, so I'm not going to spend as much time on the indexes. I'm just going to go through a couple of themes for the session and then maybe a couple of stocks, and that's it. Themes of stocks showing strength. Anyway, here's a SPY. You can see the consolidation here, and the old high was 609.07. Today it had a closing high. It did take out that 609.07, made a 609.75, so nearly 6010. So yeah, record closing high for the SPY. But you can see this is consolidating in a base. If it was a stock, you'd say, hey, that's a buy right here, and it's going to blast off. I believe, the Apple and Meta platforms and Microsoft and Google, those Amazon earnings reports are going to blow the roof off. Tesla next week. Just like we saw, a precursor earlier in the week with Netflix with the strong report, and it blasted higher. Yesterday just had an inside day. Today, even though it was up, 30 points, that chart looks really good. Pulled back almost to that 941 yesterday, what, 950. So it's very common for a stock to break out, then pull back to its buy point, its pivot area. Anyway, before I move on, I do have to point out on the Nasdaq that it is now it's 3% above that 50. So that rising 50, like I said, you just got to keep your eye on it because it trades above it, then it comes below, and it continually does that over and over. We don't want it to get too far above that 50 SMA. But anyway, I'm going to move on because I said I got to keep my videos short. And I have a lot of stuff to cover. I want to go through a couple of earnings reports. This morning, GE had a nice earnings report. And I told the folks at MCStockCharts.com, this is not the type of stock to chase. It's going to come back. And I believe I said 202 or 204. It went up to 207. Yeah, you don't want to chase it up there. Let it come in. I believe it's going to come back to that 195 level here and going to give us a shot here in the next couple of days if you want to own GE. Strong earnings report, though. You got to give it to them 4%, 6%, 14% sales growth. And you have accelerating earnings growth as well, 20%, now 28%. Very strong quarter for GE Aerospace. And it just seems like with GE and GEV and GE Healthcare, the spinoff from the mothership was good for all of those individual parts. Anyway, OSIS reported and had a nice response as well. This is not as popular or common, or not going to get a lot of comments on financial media, but 14% move. I think we'll take that as a nice move. Alaska Airlines reported had a better response than United. This one was up more than 2%, made a new high today on Alaska. Once again, if you just take a look at the sales, 2,838, this is very strong. Negative earnings, 23% earnings, 223. We got triple digit earnings growth, and that's driving this move higher. As you could see, Alaska's, enjoying the friendly skies. That is United. And since I mentioned United, I should show United. It did have a negative response to pretty strong earnings report. You can see, 2% to 8%, and then negative numbers up to 63%. So very strong earnings, but a lot priced in, I guess you would say, with this kind of a move from what 40 up to 100 and something, is nearly a three bagger here. So give United a break. All right. You could see the transportation airline, though, is one of the top groups here. Uh, in 2025, doing very well. So, United's just, what they say, taking a break. I mean, all sprinters need a breather, so give it a rest. The last one I wanted to show was LYTS earnings, and nice response here to the earnings with volume. Once again, 4% sales, 12% sales, 36. And I believe we're going to see this from a lot of companies during earnings season, is that, the economy is good and there's a lot of companies that are going to be showing strong earnings. This is in the building construction area. Anyway, 25% move. Thank you very much. We'll take it. Anyway, yeah, I'm not going to do all these uh, Batman stocks anymore. I'm just, I'm not really interested in them that much. I will go through a couple of them. The semiconductor stocks were kind of hit today. One of NVIDIA's partners had a weak report. And at the beginning, it kind of, they kind of sold off. And then, like Broadcom got a little strength, still closed lower throughout the session, but not bad. NVIDIA, which had made a nice move on Tuesday and Wednesday, today just kind of stalled, little flat. You can see they're closing near the high, though. Let me get this here. NVIDIA yesterday closed 83% of the daily range, today 100%. So right at the top of the range today. There you go. It sells off and then fights back all darn day in the last three or four ticks. Last 10, 15 minutes, got some buyers and closed near the high for NVIDIA. Hopefully that'll bode well for tomorrow, but I don't know. Texas Instruments kind of spit the bit this afternoon, but I think that was expected. We'll have to wait and see tomorrow. A couple of other names here. I guess since I mentioned Tesla and their earnings report next week, it's just pulled back to the 21. You got to expect some caution ahead of their earnings report next week. Anyway, that I think that's all the Mag 7 stocks I'll do for today, or the Batman stocks. I lied. I wanted to point out that Meta Platforms is set up in a nice base here. I liked it right there around that 602, but it's got this, Darvis type of box here, this consolidation. And, breakout above 640 would be, attract some momentum buyers. And yeah, this looks good. You can see the earnings line just gradually heading north. So, yeah, very nice stock here. If you've held it for very long, it doesn't take very long to make money in Meta Platforms if you're a holder of that stock. All right. Um, I think that's it for that group. Yeah, I'm going to move on because I did want to cover the semiconductors. They did show weakness with Broadcom and NVIDIA. I wanted to show STRL Labs. This is one that I like a lot. And I think the sellers got exhausted today. It had this three-wave down pattern. There's your double base, and this last leg today had heavy volume selling and then closed strong, much like NVIDIA that I just showed you, closed near the high. It just climbed all day. I think it traded down to like 113 or something below its 50, 112, and just fought back all day. So this could be, the end of your selling there, I think. Um, I like buying strength. I don't like buying weakness. A lot of people were asking me, is that a bounce? Is that a bounce? Well, I would like to see the bounce above, the 21. I really do. I'm just a stickler for the 21, but it's 128. You can always take a swing at any stock, and if it falls out of bed and you lose 5%, you just sell it. But I think the risk reward here is pretty good. And believe me, anytime you put money in the market, it's at risk. So my hard-earned money, I put it at risk, and I want a, good risk reward. I think you're going to get one here, but I just prefer it above the 21. If it gets to 128 tomorrow, I might take a swing at that one. Is it if it can trade above like this downtrend line and above the 21, I think those will coincide tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt if we got some buyers tomorrow in ALAB. Anyway, that's one of the stocks that I really like and picked for my um, stocks this year, my 10 stocks this year. I think they're going to report four good quarters. Anyway, SMTC, this has been a super strong one. It broke out, now pulling back, just allowing the 10 to catch up. And heck, it might not even, strong stocks don't always wait for the 10. It could just bounce off the 5. That would not surprise me either. So it's right at the 5 here. So, you know, it's found support here before, bounced off it before, so that wouldn't surprise me tomorrow. So a couple stocks I'll be looking for is SMTC and ALAB on Friday. All right. Is it the last Friday of the month? No, it's not. It's the 24th. So we have two more Fridays, 5 Fridays in January this year. All right. Went through the Nasdaq, the SPY, went through the semiconductors, and I've got to went through the earnings reports. I went through a couple of the Batman stocks, but I've got to get to what I felt was the strength of the day, and that was the energy plays, the nuclear stocks. This is GE Vernova, and we've seen this thing break out before and run like really hard from like 173 to 357. Now it just broke out here. Perhaps it'll go 314 to what? 500? Would that surprise you? It wouldn't surprise me. In fact, I would totally expect it here. Breakout from 357, what, 20% would be, 420, right? 430. It's right around there right now. So you're going to see some profit taking, but it would not surprise me to see it trade higher. Yesterday, they reported 140%, triple digit, earnings growth, but their sales, they guided to 37 billion in sales, and with 120 billion market cap, you're trading just a little over 3 times sales. That's not really exorbitant for a company like this. Probably sandbagging at 37 billion anyway, but yeah, it's not super expensive. I know there's a lot of arguments about it with the environmental people, and I just got to forget all that noise. I think the stock's going higher and it's being bought. How do I know it's being bought? The big blue volume bars here tell you that Wall Street likes this stock. So anyway, this group was very strong. Not only GE Vernova, but Vistra, another one. It sells. People are giving me a hard time. Like it saw some selling into the close. Yeah, it hit near 200 this morning. It sold off into the close. It went from like 199.80 or whatever, sold off to what, 191. This is a stock that I hold. I don't really care. I'm not going to sit there and count every tick. If you just look at this stock and look at this base here, this is classic textbook stuff here as it makes this cup shape pattern. I think this is a handle here, this pullback. I'm going to show you another stock that looks pretty similar. This is the fire day on Friday where it pulled back to its, I changed it to the 8. I got to switch it back. This is why I don't like toggling back and forth. Excuse me. That was the 5. Yeah, it's not trading down. There you go. So pull back here, I believe like to the 8 on Friday. And it had pulled back to the 10 prior. So you could see the lows, higher highs, breaking out. Yeah, it got rejected at 200 today. You could say in spirit 200. I think it was 199.84. So close enough. But yeah, so maybe that 200 level will be a area of resistance. But 131 here, December 18th to 200. I mean, that's a $70 move. So yeah, give it a break. If it wants to stall out, for a few days at 200, I'll take that. It's not going to go up every day or every week, but to me, this looks like a super strong stock. CEG is another one in this group that I like, but it's not giving you a chance to get in. It's what you call like a lockout rally. It just goes up and up and up every day. It had this one day, this is a government contract was announced on January 10, pull back the next day, had a little bit of a pullback, and that's probably like not even the five, maybe the five EMA that it pulled back to, and then just higher lows every darn day. I mean, higher highs, higher lows, definition of an uptrend constellation, the last 3 weeks, big volume coming in. So another one that I like in this group, Talon, uh, Talon Energy, TLN is the ticker. You can know the electric power is now the 11th rated group, broke out, got up to 250 today, rejected at 250, closed at 247, but it did get up to 258. This one's kind of a wild one. This one has wild swings. I kind of like VST and GEV because they're a little more calmer and I can kind of read them better and I can go golfing and not have to worry about the thing being up 20 or down 20. This thing has been, if you look at it, pretty wild. But now it's definitely in a clear uptrend, higher lows, higher highs, and there's no telling how high this one could go. So when stocks like this in a bull market are running, you just let them run. You don't mess with them. There's no sell sign here. They're not doing anything wrong. And so I'm going to go to another one. This is a data center play. This has got the power and the cooling. This one has not broke out yet, in my opinion. And like I said, stocks do come back to their pivot areas. And this one, just might decide to do that 145. That would not surprise me. It did make a higher high today. Um, yeah, it made a higher high of 155, I think. Yeah, 155.26. Yesterday's high was 154.79. But still consolidating within the base, still near that pivot, still actionable, in my opinion, where these other ones are kind of extended. Well, actually, they're really extended from anywhere near, buying them, even though they're just ripping. You could probably buy that tomorrow, it'll be 450. But, I like to, like I say, every dollar to put in the market is at risk. So I like to take as little risk as possible and buy as close to a buy area as I can. All right. So let me see. The nuclear stocks, we're going nuclear once again today. This is nano nuclear. This one was up a lot more than the close, 46.52. Still, this thing was only 17% today. Wait a minute. This thing says 22%. I don't know. Market surge is messed up. It had a nice day. Yeah, it closed at 42.74, but afterwards it's down $1.50 at 43. So I don't know. This is messed up. Just know these things are probably so white hot that it's short circuiting market surge. The other one in this group that is really super strong is OKLO, OKLO. And you can see this alternative energy, which is where GE Vernova is, and NNE and OKLO, just super strong today, up 13.5%. It was above 40, yeah, 40.21, and then close at 38.78. Still a nice day, and breakout from that 28.12 earlier this week. That was what, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's had a good week. And you can see the big volume coming in here recently. Right here, it had this base and then blasted out. Just this week, it's up 48%. So that's a hell of a move for Oakland. All right. So I said, I'm just going to cover a couple of areas. I'm going to try to keep my videos shorter. I've been instructed, and I try to listen and follow instructions, but sometimes it's hard because I talk too much. Anyway, so I'm just going to go through a couple of names that I like, some stocks that I own, some stocks that I like, some stocks that I might want to own or just interested in. This is Reddit. Once again, I've got to, if you look at this green line here, this is your 10 EMA, and it's been a pretty consistent barometer. Of course, it closed below the 21 on this day, but got right back above it. So, I wouldn't sell it right away on a 21 breach right here this day. The 13th got right back above it here. So it didn't take too long, and now it's been trending above it. And now coming down to its 10 for support. So it looks fine to me. Yeah, it was down today a little bit, but Reddit still looks really good to me. And like I say, these earnings are coming up, and that's what's going to be the tell. I'm looking for the grand slam here for earnings. I'm looking for, the stock like AppLovin that made the big move here from 90 to 417, or like MicroStrategy. Now, I don't expect those ones to do it, from 113 to 543. And I just want a meat of the trade. I don't need the whole trade. Just give me something like from this breakout here to here, I'll take that. Just you don't have to buy the bottom or sell the top, but we're going to see these things moving, and I do believe that ALAB is one of them. I believe that Reddit is another. I just got off on Reddit, and I think ARM might be something to watch here. Once again, I'm all over the place. I digress, but I did want to show ARM because it did come back to that 164.16 pivot point. I said stocks do come back to their pivot points, and it did today. So, yeah, it was down 7.5% on that news from that God supplier. But ARM's a wild one, had a big move yesterday, gave some of it back today, but it's just an inside day. Down 7.5% is an inside day. So ARM had that big move on Wednesday and gave like some of it back today, not all of it, some of it back. It was up 15, 16%, gave back half of it. So anyway, I digress. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was showing you stocks that I like. Stocks that this is DoorDash. You can obviously see this. I think it's pretty obvious. Maybe it's not. This consolidation pattern here from 181 to 164. Just got this little Darvis box, if you will. Broke above it today. I posted this one on Twitter. I'm not sure if I put this on the ready list. I had to throw out my binder. I ran out of paper. So I got to go to the stationery store and buy more paper before tomorrow's pre-market report, where we had a lot of stocks jumping off this week and they're extended, so I can't I got to take them off. So I'm not sure if this is on my ready list or not. If not, it should have been, and if it wasn't yesterday, it will be tomorrow. How about that? Anyway, if we just take a look at the weekly on this, I mean, just a thing of beauty here. This cup with handle now is flat base pattern. It says a stage four base, which is a later stage, which is something to consider, but also take a look at the IPO, which to me, if you're looking at a longer term perspective, you'd say that you could make a case that it's still in an IPO base here from November of 21, which is when Jerome Powell started raising interest rates the fastest in history. And it hit these stocks. It hit a lot of these software names. It hit a lot of the growth stocks. This thing went straight down for, like a year and then rebounded, and now it's recovering nicely. So, I believe in 2024, 2025, we're going to get four more good quarters from DoorDash. It's up 9% this month, and it wouldn't surprise me to see it. In fact, I would say I expect it to take out the 257.25, that old high from 2021, but just give it some time. For right now, shorter term here, breaking out of that box is a positive for DoorDash. It's got the growth profile that we like, the 23%, 23%, 25% sales growth, very steady, and then the accelerating earnings growth. All right. That's DoorDash. All right, Palantir, I know I put this one on today. I believe, it just pulled back, undercut the 50, but got right back above it real quick. And yeah, had a nice day today, too. Almost 3% move. I would expect it to take out that 84.80 high there. Once again, earnings coming up. So it's all about the earnings. And we're going to see some big moves at earnings this time. I think the street has underestimated some of the power of these moves, especially in some of these artificial intelligence plays and what they have to say about the guidance going forward. All right, net, another one that I like, had that obvious. At least it's obvious to me. I don't know if it's obvious to everybody else. Well, 119.42, right? It's got this little, box pattern. Once again, once it broke out above it, it's off to the races there. So a nice little $5 move, 119 to 124 for Cloudflare. I like that one. And then, I can't always be in tech. I can't always be in software. I can't always be in AI. So I like a little retail to mix it up a little bit. Now, I had this on holdings, breaking above this downtrend line last week, which was, I think, Thursday, no, Friday was the options expiration day where it had the big volume. And then this week it comes in and, trades above it, higher lows, right? And higher highs now. Let's take a look at the weeklies. It broke above the downtrend line. Yeah, it's up 4.5% this week. You could see the blue dot indicating relative strength. They don't report for a while, I believe. So yeah, March. So we don't have to worry about that. I would expect, the breakout above that 60-12 to hold and to see it, rally further from here. Maybe I don't know, 10 to 20% move here, maybe up to the 70 level. So anyway, what we're watching on holdings, and if you didn't buy that one, yeah, I just like to be a little more diverse than just owning the same things because when it rotates out of those nuclear stocks and energy plays and the AI plays, it's going to be a world of pain if all your stocks are in that group. AYI. The construction play, building construction. There's a couple of them that I like in here. This is just one of them. Obviously, it's got the cup-shaped pattern without the handle, so it might need to pull back here one day. It's a little bit extended above its 10 EMA here, 3.3%. So don't be surprised if 1 or 2 days it pulls back a little bit before taking off above that old 337.99, call it 338 area. And it's right there, 337.07. Another one that I like, in this group. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one pull back to its buy area of 350.19, call it 350 and a quarter, whatever. It's right there. It hasn't gone far. STRL is another one in this group. Nice pullback today. I like to see that. Let these moving averages, the shorter term moving averages cross above the longer term moving averages, let it pull back there below 200. Yeah, I like that one a lot. PRIM. Not sure if I put this one on the right list, but once again, 84.97. Let's just call it $85. Wouldn't be surprised to see a pullback there. The 10 EMA is 84.58 today. So that group as well, top 10 group, looking pretty strong. And the last one I'm going to cover is VIRT. Financial services, once again, you got to be a little diverse in your, at least I believe it's wise to, the financials were up today, the utilities, the energy, and so it just kind of rotates around. So, if you don't want to, have a week where you're just, out of luck, you should have a little bit of diversity. I believe the shotgun approach. Anyway, this one bounced today 3%, and I'd like to see it get above that 38.45 level. It looks like it closed a tick above it. So anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, except for excuse me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. And in honor of the great Steve Jobs, I do have one more thing. I mentioned that Texas Instruments didn't have a great earnings report, down 3%. I'm not sure if this is going to really impact the semiconductor names tomorrow. Just gonna have to wait and see. Maybe at the open they will. I mean, NVIDIA is the big kahuna in the group, and yeah, I kind of doubt. If it impacts it very much. Same with Broadcom. It's yeah, down, yeah, 34 cents. Yeah, I kind of doubt it. I think it was expected that Texas Instrument was going to have a weak quarter. Anyway, CSX is the railway transportation railway stock. This is not something that not in my sandbox, not in my playground. You can see that the transportation railway is 168 out of 197. So a pretty weak group. United Pacific, I think they reported this morning and had a nice, bounce here at 5%, but just not an area that I'm interested in. And the last one I am interested in was Intuitive Surgical, which absolutely knocked the cover off the ball, had a great report, down 2%. I don't know if it was the guidance. I just read the report of the Da Vinci surgeries, and they beat expectations, top and bottom line. So I'll have more on this in the morning. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.